it has been a busy week. Training camp has officially kicked off. The Jaguars are back out on the field, and now the countdown starts until, I guess, preseason games or the regular season, whatever. We're just happy to have a little bit of a taste of football back. So here the guys are. There's Coach Cohen, Coach Campanelli. They've been out there on the field, and there was another practice this morning. So this was practice number 4 for the Jaguars. And if you haven't been following along, they have been having some fun, but they've also been getting after it pretty good out there on the field. Now, the expectations obviously are high, and there's definitely going to be a learning curve on everything that's going on because it is a new coaching staff. So guys are kind of setting the tone for that right now. But some of the guys that have been here, they're really excited about what's going to be out on the field this year. And that goes for a guy like Travis Etienne. There have been questions along the offseason of whether or not Travis Etienne would be in the plans for the Jaguars. But let me go on ahead and tell you, got a chance to talk with Travis Etienne this week, and he's excited about Liam Cohen's offense and feels like last season the offense wasn't being put in the best position to succeed, but that's the good thing about the new offense with Liam Cohen, that it's less predictable, and it's putting guys right where they need to be.
Most definitely. I feel like it gives us a chance to not be – the defense don't know what we're doing. I feel like it gives us a chance to just be versatile. I feel like we got the same play. Well, we got 3 different plays out of the same formation. And I feel like that's what's different. The defense don't know what's coming, to where last year I feel like they could just guess what we were doing. Like I feel like our splits, our alignments gave it up a lot. And I feel like this year's going to be very different.
The defense being able to guess what you're doing just by how you line up is never a good sign for things. Now, while I mentioned earlier that Travis Etienne, there were questions about what his role will be in the offense, and I think he's going to be a guy that's very involved. But one of the guys that might like to steal a carry or two is rookie running back Bhayshul Tuten. Now, Tuten's a guy that the Jaguars obviously believe in. They just drafted him. But look, if there was a knock on him in college, it was that he had a few fumbles along the way and didn't protect the football as well. Well, in OTAs, his first touch, he goes out on the field, takes a handoff, and the ball pops loose and he fumbles it. Not exactly a great way to start things off. I got a chance to catch up with Bhayshul today after training camp practice. He said he's worked on it. Now it's second nature, and knock on wood, I'll have to find some here in a second, but he hasn't put one on the ground since.
I'm just harping on it. I think, first OTA practice, getting used to the speed of stuff, bad ball security on my part, but, we've been, working on it day in and day out, doing a lot of drills to, be cognizant of it and paying attention to it. So now it's becoming second nature, and, knock on wood, but one has been on the ground since.
Speed different?
Yeah. It's definitely different, but, you'll get adjusted to it. I'm a fast player, so it kind of works out for me.
What looks like this scheme is all about, especially for you guys at running back, trying to get you guys one-on-one, find you in space so you can kind of do what you do and just make plays.
Yeah, that's how we try to do it here, I'm going to say. We like to do a lot of, wide zone, mid zone, gap scheme. Try to put us on a one-on-one with a corner, linebacker, safety, whoever, and expect us to win our one-on-one matchup. And, like I said earlier, with the backs in the room, I think that matchup is, 100% us winning that every time.
Now let's flip to the other side of the football, the defense. Josh Hines-Allen, he's been a mainstay on the Jaguars defense for some years now. Now, one of the things that is going on with Josh, this is where football and life kind of intersect, right? Josh missed the last game of last season. He was dealing with something in his personal life that he's now decided is the time to share. His son Wesley was diagnosed with leukemia. Now Wesley is now in recovery, and Josh now using his platform to share Wesley's story and also help others that are in the same situation.
A lot of people go through it. A lot of people that you may not know in your daily life has had some type of cancer at a young age or probably getting it now, that you can always be there to support them, care for them, give them love, because I think that's really the main focus on people that's going through that. They have people that can help support them and give them love. And again, for my foundation is to show support. We're contributing to 4 different organizations throughout the year. So each month is going to be different. An organization that we're targeting to help spread more awareness for them and for us as well. So.
Josh, one of the best guys in that locker room, definitely a tough thing for a family to go through. Shout out to him for using his platform to kind of continue to push that along. All right, let's kind of wrap up our trip through Jaguars training camp with a little bit of mailbag. We got a pair of questions in the pocket that we want to talk about. Let's start off with the first one. This one's from Duval T87. And what players or position group have impressed you the most? That's a really good question, and I got a simple answer for that one. And that is the cornerback room, because look, let me go ahead and tell you, last year, if you watch Jaguars games, you know the secondary was a problem. It was not as good as it needed to be. There were blown coverages left and right. This group has been absolutely fantastic. To wrap up the week on Friday, Tyson Campbell was in lockdown mode and honestly gave the Jaguars offense fits. And then there was the free agent addition of Jordan Lewis, who has been a guy who has made a diving pass breakup on just about every day of training camp so far. And so it's not just the leadership with this guy. He looks fantastic out there on the field. Plus, you then throw in a guy like Travis Hunter, who was at cornerback today and had a fantastic day, including a pass breakup against Brian Thomas Jr. in the end zone. So wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, one-on-one, and Travis Hunter 1. Pretty good sign of things to come, right? Jarian Jones going into year 2, he's looked really good so far. The cornerback room, flat out the most impressive so far. You feel a little bit better about where the defense is going to be when you start seeing the secondary able to play the way they were, or they have been, because that was one of the question marks kind of going into the year. So feel really good about where it's at. Tyson Campbell looks healthy and back to where he needed to be. Jordan Lewis looks like a veteran presence who's out there making plays, and the young guys, they look good too. So I think the Jaguars cornerback room has honestly been flat out the most impressive. And you know what? It's not close. All right, let's do one more question, and then we're going to kind of wrap things up here. This one comes from @TheJagPack, and outside of BTJ, what wide receiver seems to be separating himself from the rest? All right, you know, the top 3 guys are Brian Thomas, De'Ami Brown, and Travis Hunter. Well, the guy who I think has had the best camp so far is behind them on the depth chart, but maybe in a little bit of his own way. How about Parker Washington? Parker Washington's been in Jacksonville for a few years, but he is having a flat-out fantastic training camp. I mean, this is a guy who's sparked. He's had some moments when he's gotten the chance to play, but he hasn't been able to really crack the rotation, right? He hasn't been consistent enough. 11's been out there making plays every chance he's gotten. And he's a guy that I think they're going to start taking notice of and finding ways to put the football in this guy's hands or get him involved. And when you have a guy like Travis Hunter who's going to play on both sides of the football, that's going to open up opportunities where you need somebody to step up and fill his role on offense. I think that's a guy like Parker Washington. Now, it's still early, but Parker's been making some plays, and you can see the growth. He's explosive. When the ball's gotten to him and he's gotten his hands on it, he's made the catches, including in the end zone, racked up a couple of touchdowns earlier this week against some tight coverage from a secondary that I mentioned has been playing really well. Parker Washington has been probably the most impressive wide receiver of the group so far. And that's not a knock at what De'Ami, Brian, or Travis Hunter has been able to do out there. It's honestly more of a shout out to just how good Parker Washington's been so far through training camp. Honestly, if I had to go another guy, Joshua Cephas, the second-year guy, he was undrafted a year ago. He's also been having a really strong camp, and he's a guy who needs it because he's trying to see if he can get onto the 53-man roster this year. A year ago, he spent most of the year on the practice squad. So we'll be keeping an eye on all those guys. They're going into another week of training camp. There's another practice tomorrow morning. If you're not keeping up with all of it, you can head over to newsforjax.com, click on that handy-dandy sports page. You want it, we got it. We got pictures, videos, write-ups, whatever you want, it is there. And a really easy way for you to keep up with the Jaguars is make sure you come hang out with us every Monday and Friday nights for Teal the Show. We're going to have a new episode coming your way tomorrow night at 11:20 right here on Channel 4. We'll break it all down, wrap it all up, and it's a really easy way to keep up with everything. We fire up the show during training camp because, well, it's so busy, the expectations are so high, and the hype is there, so why not? We'll keep it rolling until whenever the Jaguars are done, so make us part of your routine every Monday and Friday night at 11:20 right here on Channel 4. And if you want more Jaguars coverage, make sure you're checking out that News 4 Jags podcast. You can track that down anywhere that you get your podcast. We do these podcasts right there on the field as training camp wraps up after each practice. So there's plenty of them off and rolling, but we do them year-round. So that way you can keep up with everything that's going on around your favorite team. So you can track that podcast down on YouTube, on newsforjax.com, or anywhere that you get your podcast. Just make sure you subscribe while you're there. It's really the easiest way to keep up with everything that's going on around the team as we continue to kind of count down until preseason and the regular season get off and rolling.